Hi, everybody. This is Dan Stolbarger. Welcome back to our YouTube presentations. We just got back from Israel about a week ago. And up to that time, as you know, we were there for about a month. All of our Middle East updates were just PDF PowerPoints. But now that we're back home, we'll start with the YouTubes once again. This is the week of Thanksgiving. It's the week of November 29th. We'll look back over the last week to the things that's transpired that we feel are significant in Israel. But before we get started on all of that, just a plea that I'm asking for is that you'll see on our PDF PowerPoint, by the way, make sure you grab that. You'll see that that very first slide now has to do with praying for the hostages. We're taking a hostage per day. On our KFIR site, I've kind of given you a bio, an idea of what took place, but we must never forget, we must never close our eyes. We must be diligent in keeping those hostages, especially those that are still alive, in our prayers. So please join with us. If you're not receiving a daily email from KFIR, it's very simple. Just go to our website at holygroundexplorations.com and you'll see the link for KFIR for small groups. You sign up there and you'll get an email daily, Monday through Friday, with our Bible reading schedule, but also in terms of our hostage that we're praying for in that particular day. So join us. So we're going to jump in. I've been asked a lot, so what's Israel like? Quite honestly, I think I'm still processing everything. Besides it being empty, airports, hotels, etc., there is a sense of gloom and doom and fear that has enveloped the land. I think it's like a severe case of PTSD, not knowing when this war will end, not knowing if there are any hostages still alive, when they'll be released. How long, oh Lord, I guess, comes to my mind as sort of the collective phrase of the Israeli people in this day. How long, oh Lord? Well, with all that, like I said, I believe I'm still processing all of this. But let's take a look at this week. Our news bites, again, tragically, we have a murder. Someone, well, not just someone, but Rabbi Zevi Kogan was murdered in the Emirates. The bottom line is he was killed just for simply being a Jew. And the rise of anti-Semitism in our day, listen, on our campuses, the rise is over 3,000%. So the perpetrators have been captured, but Israel's still mourning the death of the missing Chabad emissary. Again, may his name be a blessed memory, Rabbi Zev Kogan. This is our news bites, by the way. With everything that's going on as far as the U.S. chastising Israel in terms of not providing humanitarian aid, listen to this. Israel has let 900,000 tons of food they've put into Gaza. 900,000 tons of food. Again, and they're being accused of allegedly starving Palestinians. As I mentioned, 3,000% increase in anti-Semitic incidents across 25 U.S. universities since the October 7th massacres. And then we'll talk about the ceasefire that's going on right now. Bibi's going to take it from both sides, but the bottom line is that I think it's a strategic move with the time that Biden has left in office and what took place when Obama was leaving in terms of the Security Council and the U.S. refusing to veto something that hurt and crippled Israel quite a bit at the end of Obama's administration. And now with Biden, once again, I think Bibi is playing the long game here. And I think he's realizes there's a danger that in the time that's left here, close to 2 months for the Biden administration, that things could, in a sense, decisions could be made that would cripple Israel for quite some time. So ceasefire is now in place. Bibi's, by the way, saying, hey, this could be a very short ceasefire. Remember, ceasefires, they don't mean peace. Ceasefires are not a gift of peace. They're just a pause in a war. And that's what's taking place right now. In the midst of this ceasefire, however, there's an article here in the New York Post that basically says Hamas claims that it's ready for a Gaza ceasefire after what Hezbollah's deal with Israel's been. And so before we get, because of what I've mentioned in regards to praying for hostages, we'll pump the brakes a little bit here because we're dealing with Hamas. Okay, we're dealing with psychological warfare. And Hamas has come out and basically said, we've informed mediators in Egypt, Qatar and Turkey that we're ready for discussions and agreements for ceasefires. And here's the phrase they use: and a serious deal to exchange prisoners. Again, that term, the exchange of prisoners. No. You have to understand, Israel has prisoners of war with blood on their hands. Hamas has civilians that they've kidnapped. There's not an exchange of prisoners for kidnapped victims. So again, just from the get-go, there's going to be some give and take in all of this. Of course, Israel's literally, after being in Hostage Square a couple weeks ago, there's no words really to kind of give you a feeling of the pall that's kind of come over the land and the hopelessness that's there. So any hope, any light at all in terms of releasing hostages is going to be embraced. And then again, when I mentioned psychological warfare, it's just like Hamas to offer and then pull the carpet out. But again, they're easing their demands. According to the New York Times, the Palestinians, or the Hamas, I should say, has basically indicated that they might be willing to let the IDF occupy the Philadelphia corridor temporarily. Now, keep in mind, this was something they never would have agreed to beforehand, but now with the death of Sinwar, with the depletion of, or it seems as if Iran has been affected militarily, what they have to offer. The victory of Trump has caused Hamas to kind of take another look at what their options are. And so we're starting to see some movement, I hope and pray, towards the release of hostages. Something that I'm not sure has been reported far and wide. But the IDF discovered gas masks, chemical materials, sedatives, all in the possession of Hamas operatives 2 months ago. 2 months ago. And again, as they've seen the Hezbollah terror tunnels that are there, and it seems as if Hezbollah was preparing for chemical warfare against Israel. And again, the Iranian regime has developed a plethora of chemical weapons based on fentanyl and opioids, and they've supplied it to Hezbollah, and it was discovered. Can you imagine? Lindsey Graham, again, props, much respect for Lindsey Graham. In this article here, he makes this statement saying, hey, I know he's in Israel right now. He says, one of the biggest challenges with regards to peace, any lasting peace, any long-term peace, any real peace, is going to require that the Palestinian people, realizing this, is that they are the most radicalized people on the planet right now. From the time that they're born until the time they die, they're taught to hate the Jews, drive them into sea, and you're rewarded for how many you can kill. In order for that to change, it has to change with education. It has to change with the youth. Graham also believes that if there's not a change of brainwashing the youth, there will be no hope. But he's going on to say, truly, if we're going to move forward in all this, the Arab world is going to have to step up on the day after Gaza. They're going to have to take charge of Gaza once the war ends. And his parting remarks to the people of Israel were simply, and to you, the people of Israel, our dear friends, our allies, we will have your backs. We're going to protect you because you are actually protecting us. Last up, and again, let me encourage you to get the PDF because there's more information there than I have time for here. But last up, this ICC's Bibi sentence. They want he can be arrested now or whatever. And I think it's, on one hand, we can kind of shrug our shoulders, but here's the reality, is that Netanyahu can be arrested in these countries. Ireland, Belgium, Spain, Austria, Slovenia, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, England. France was listed here as well. All of these have indicated that they will arrest Netanyahu if and when he would enter their countries. And then, of course, the Ayatollah of Iran has gone on to say, you know what, these warrants and arrest warrants are not enough. These Israel leaders must be sentenced to death. So just in, because of this ceasefire and France wanting to be a part of all this with Lebanon, France has declared Netanyahu has immunity from the ICC's arrest warrants because of their, quote, historic friendship between the two countries. Well, again, we're back. That's the report for this week. We are going back to Israel in March. We haven't cemented the dates yet, but it'll be in mid-March. We're waiting to see how airfare and all of that sort of works out. But again, we're going, and we want to encourage you to come along with us. We call this this tour, The Land, the People, and the King. So keep us in your prayers. God bless you. And remember, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and pray that the hostages would be released now. Shalom.